At the end of the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series season, one of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time, Jimmie Johnson, will retire from full-time racing. Since becoming a fan of the sport in 2004, it's been incredible growing up and watching him grow to be the driver that he is now. Not only did he win 7 Cup championships, he won 5 consecutive championships from 2006 to 2010. He won across the Gen 4, Gen 5, and Gen 6 cars, as well as under different playoff formats. Some formats that are argued to be designed for Johnson to not win in. We look back at the greats like Petty, Earnhardt, and Johnson, and we look to the future with the next-gen era beginning in 2021, and I asked this to myself, will we ever see another 7-time champion again? And if so, who will be that next driver to explode in dominance like Jimmie Johnson did? Keep in mind, we're talking about someone who came onto the scene and immediately made an impact. He was in contention to win the championship in 2002 as a rookie. He came close to winning the championship quite a few times, where right now, he could have been an 8, 9, or even a 10-time champion right now. So the question is, will we see that next Jimmie Johnson, or who will be the next Jimmie Johnson? To be honest, I don't see another 7-time champion coming anytime soon right now. Mostly it has to do with the current playoff format and the way it's set up. 16 drivers qualify for the playoffs by either winning a race or having enough points to get themselves in if you don't have a win. And then you have 4 drivers being eliminated every 3rd race with a championship race with 4 drivers remaining, and the 4 of them race it out, and the highest finishing of them wins the NASCAR championship. This system has created a lot of unpredictability that eliminates possibilities of someone winning 5 straight titles like Jimmie Johnson did. A couple examples of this comes in 2014, the first time they ever used this format. While Kevin Harvick was able to clinch his first ever NASCAR Cup championship, in second place was Ryan Newman in his first year at Richard Childress Racing, and he had no wins that entire season. But yet, he snuck his way in, and he almost won himself the championship that night. The other example came just last year. As a lot of you might know, Matt Crafton won the 2019 NASCAR Truck Series Championship by having no wins. As a matter of fact, he hasn't won since 2017, but he was the highest finishing of the 4 playoff drivers, which clinched him the championship, in which a lot of people argue that Matt Crafton, quote, exposed the system. Hey, so did Ryan Newman. Knowing that this championship format has a lot of unpredictability, this eliminates the possibility of someone winning 5 straight titles. Now, I'm not going to say it's now impossible. It's still possible, but it's now going to be harder to do under the system. The other thing I want to cover is the next generation of drivers and who's going to step up above them all. Who are going to be the class of drivers that defy this next generation of NASCAR Cup stars? Over the past several years, there's been a lot of talent coming up, and there still is a lot of talent coming up. But right now, I don't see any of these current drivers getting to 7 championships. It's going to be difficult. I will argue there are quite a few that will win multiple championships, with guys like Elliott, Blaney, or Larson. For instance, I can see Elliott winning 3 or 4 championships. Maybe Blaney wins a couple, and so on. There are upcoming drivers still that I also see as future Cup champions, like Chase Briscoe, Sam Meyer, and Chandler Smith. The thing is, NASCAR is more competitive than ever before. Comparing to the eras that Petty and Earnhardt raced in, and even Johnson to some extent, this is the most competitive NASCAR has ever been, with teams looking for that edge to topple over the big teams. And not to mention, everything's going to reset next season with the next-gen car. And honestly, it almost feels like there's more than 16 drivers that can make the playoffs and even go for the championship, especially with the current package we're running. We will find out what drivers will dominate this era later on down the road, but even so, with the amount of competition and how the champion is determined, we may not have that next Jimmie Johnson coming anytime soon. But hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the next generation of drivers will dominate NASCAR. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Feel free to check out my weekly NASCAR talk show that I do on The Grueling Truth with my friend Michael Klein called the Dropping the Hammer Racing Hour. I'll leave a link to the most recent episode down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.